So, an article was released earlier this week by Variety.com. It was an exclusive article talking about the future of DC, including the possibility of a black Superman coming to the big screen. So I'm sure that's going to throw a few people out there, but we're going to get into that. And as far as you can see, like, wait a second, Superman's not black. Well, Superman's not black, but this Superman is black. If you're confused by that, we're going to get into it. But first, we'll go over a few things. And if you want to read this article, I, of course, posted on the Peel Vision Facebook page. So please feel free to tune in and check it out, read it for yourself. But anyway, the article talks about how DC Films has had, well, you know, the DCEU has had, it's definitely had its rough spots. Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, Justice League. During that time period, Wonder Woman was the only all-around success. Critics loved it, audiences loved it. I really enjoyed Wonder Woman. I think, like most people, the last part of it is where the biggest problems show up. But overall, I enjoyed the film. But the article goes on to say how it's like picking itself up now. It seems to be on the proper track with successes with Aquaman, Shazam, and recently Joker. And now we got Wonder Woman 2 right around the corner. So it seems like this universe is back on track. It also goes on in the article to talk about how other things they're interested in, such as considering Joker was a massive success. I mean, that movie's still raking in tons of money. But it showed that we can do these rated R films, and Marvel doesn't seem to be doing them. And at this point, DC can take advantage of that and see what other R-rated comic book properties they can get going. So there's word is that maybe the upcoming Birds of Prey movie with Harley Quinn, Huntress, and Black Canary, that might be turned in rated R with editing. That movie's coming out in a couple months. And then we also have Suicide Squad 2, directed by James Gunn, same director of Guardians of the Galaxy films. So I'm really hyped for that one. It goes on to say, things like, so we're gonna have radar films coming up, and also, lost my train of thought. Sorry, everybody, lost my damn train of thought. But it also goes on to say that we got some other problems, right? Because now we have the upcoming new Batman movie, just called The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves and starring Robert Pattinson. But they don't know what to do with Superman, and that is a problem. A lot of people lately have been asking, will Henry Cavill ever come back to Superman? Recently, he said online that the cape is still in the closet. He hasn't given up on the character, meaning he wants to come back to the character, but so far, the studio has not contacted him for any future Superman movies, which I'll say this about Henry Cavill. A lot of people loved him as Superman. I can't say that I loved him as Superman, not to his fault. There have been moments throughout Man of Steel, Batman, well, not Batman v Superman. I'll say moments in Man of Steel and Justice League, as many problems those two films have. I see the potential in his portrayal of Superman, but the writing and directing in those films never really gave him a chance to properly show the true Superman he could be. That's my opinion. I'm more than willing to give Henry Cavill another shot, to don the cape, because I think this guy never got to really reach his full potential there. But right now, we'll see what happens. So the article says, once again, it's on Variety.com, the studio has less clarity on what to do with Superman, a character who has now been rebooted 2 different times in the past 13 years, being Superman Returns and Man of Steel. Superman has also appeared frequently on television in shows such as Lois and Clark and Smallville, which has led to some fears at Warner's that the market could be oversaturated with hot takes on all things Clark Kent. Now, that I find kind of weird, and here's my reasons why. They say that the market might be oversaturated. If the market's oversaturated by any of DC's big characters, it is definitely Batman. And before anyone jumps down my throat, I'm not crapping on Batman. Batman is one of the most famous, one of the most iconic comic book characters of all time, hands down. He's great. I grew up watching, the Michael Keaton movies and, the other ones, But Batman the animated series, into the Justice League animated series, I've looked into the comic storylines, stuff like that, But Batman's everywhere. They whore out Batman. Let's be honest. They whore out Batman all the time. He's always in some cartoon. He's always got a video game coming out, straight to streaming or DVD movie. He was just fucking with the Ninja Turtles just not too long ago. All right? I mean, even though he's had little on television, I mean, we had Gotham, which we had Bruce Wayne, but we didn't see him become Batman until like the very last episode. Which that always bothered me in Gotham. I thought the movie was going to be about Gordon, but it was half Gordon, half Bruce. That always kind of bothered me. But anyway, but yeah, DC throws Batman out there all the time. Whenever they release a movie, if it's a storyline can allow Batman to be in there, I think Batman's probably had the most. I'm just guessing by all the trailers I see about these straight straight to DVD or straight to streaming animated films they've got. But Batman's in most of them. All right. So if the market's oversaturated by any character, it's Batman. Let's be honest there. It is definitely Batman. And to a degree, I get it. Batman he's kind of always in demand. He really is. Like the same thing for Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man, because Elizabeth Banks said recently in an interview, like, where people are like, well, there's really no demand for Charlie's Angels film, to which she responded, like, we've had 27 Spider-Man films, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's because Spider-Man's always in demand. And Spider-Man 2 is probably, he's Marvel's equivalent to Batman in terms of character that's always in demand and character they probably, maybe overuse a little bit. But I get it. It's Batman, right? So I don't really think the problem is that there's an oversaturation with Superman. I think that we just haven't had as many good Superman movies, shows, and whatnot, Superman media as we've had with Batman. They give Batman so much focus. I mean, let's look at Superman Returns. Let's be honest. Superman Returns, I don't think is a horrible film. It's just disappointing. I'll say it's disappointing. And Brandon Routh, to his credit, I think is a good Superman in that film. And that's one of the reasons why I'm very excited to see him come back as that Superman in the upcoming Crisis on Infinite Earths Arrowverse crossover. He's returning as that character, an older version of that character in the Kingdom Come Superman costume. So I'm excited by that. And as for Man of Steel, I said it before, it's okay. It's okay. I see what Zack Snyder was trying to do, but it just doesn't all come together. It doesn't. There's moments where in that movie I like, but as the movie goes on, things kind of fall apart a little bit more and more. Then, of course, Batman v Superman. I hate that movie. I think it sucks. I think it just uses Superman as a prop and not an actual character. It angers me. And then Justice League, we finally get Henry Cavill acting like Superman, but he's not acting like the Superman we've come to know in the past two films. So it's like, what the hell? The only recent live-action Superman that I've enjoyed is Tyler Hoechlin's Superman, who he premiered in the beginning of Season 2 of Supergirl. I think Tyler Hoechlin's performance is, I think he's kind of a classic approach in his performance to Superman. I really like him on that. I'm excited that he's getting his own TV show. However, I think the Supergirl show has misused the character at times. So, I mean, I don't think, we know that people want to see Superman. I think Smallville is proof of that. I think that people are begging for Henry Cavill to get another shot at Superman is proof that people still want to see Superman. They just want to see him done right. They don't want to see him twisted and used and be like, this S is my symbol for hope, but then he never actually projects hopefulness in the films. People want to see Superman. They just want to see him done right. So I totally disagree with the whole we're oversaturated with Superman. I think we're oversaturated with either poor to mediocre interpretations of the character. I think that's where the problem is. Anyway, the article goes on to the point of the thing that I'm sure most of you guys have tuned in to listen to this part is the Black Superman. We're going to get into this. This is what the article says. To help find a way to make Superman relevant to modern audiences, Studio Brass has been polling lots of high-profile talent. They have been in discussions with J.J. Abrams, whose company Bad Robot recently signed a massive first-look deal with the studio. And there was a meeting with Michael B. Jordan earlier this year with the Creed star pitching Warner's on a vision for the character. However, Jordan isn't ready to commit to taking on the project since filming doesn't seem likely to happen for several years and he has a full dance card of projects. So yes, now for those of you, Michael B. Jordan, good actor. He's one of the best young actors in Hollywood. I think he's proven that in movies like Chronicle. Both Creed movies, the first Creed movie I think is better than the second one, but either way, He really brought it, and of course, people loved him as the villain Killmonger. Or I'll say antagonist. I'll call him. No, fuck it. He's a villain. He's a sympathetic villain, but a villain nonetheless. Killmonger in Black Panther. He kind of stole the movie from Chadwick Boseman, which is a shame because Chadwick Boseman is a good actor in his own right. But yeah, Michael B. Jordan, great actor. I can totally see them why they would want to tap him. I mean, he's very popular. I think he's basically a household name at this point. And as I said, dude is fucking talented. Plus, we know he can get into Superman shape. In both Creed and Black Panther, you see just how ripped and cut he can get. He gets into like, holy crap. This guy, if he put on the suit, he'd look like he owned that suit. Now, whether or not he would be proper casting, I'm not sure. Once again, he's a good actor, but being a good actor and being right for a role are two different things. As a lot of people would, attest to, Jesse Eisenberg. He's a damn good actor, but he wasn't right for Lex Luthor. I'm sorry to say that. He's a good actor. I look forward to, seeing him in future films and, film since. But he wasn't right for Lex Luthor. Is Michael B. Jordan a Superman type? I don't know. I'm not honestly quite sure. I can't see him doing the Clark Kent thing, the traditional Superman. But he might do Calvin Ellis. My apologies, Calvin Ellis, who is the Black Superman. And for those of you who don't know, wait, there's a Black Superman? Yes. All the comic book nerds out there already know that much like Marvel, DC has a multiverse, meaning there are multiple different universes / dimensions where there are counterparts to other characters. If you're a fan of the Arrowverse shows, you know that the Flash has met several other Flashes from various universes. And that's the concept. In different universe, people are a little different, or they had different lives. In one of these Elseworld stories they've done, Superman, his rocket ship landed on the Wayne's estate, and he was raised by the Waynes, and he became Batman. He just became Batman with superpowers. And Calvin Ellis, who is a character I admittedly am not very familiar with, but he's basically he's just Superman but black. He's just a different survivor from Krypton, if I remember correctly. Excuse me. But anyway, so that means we have other possibilities going on here. So that would be the question. If they decide to make another Superman movie, and if they're able to get Michael B. Jordan on board, would they take the approach of now making Clark Kent the traditional Superman, taking him from white to black? Some people would be against this for several reasons. One being just he's not supposed to be black. You can call that racist. I'm sure there's definitely a lot of people who just don't want to see, black superheroes in general. If you don't want to see black superheroes in general, then tune the fuck out of this show because I don't give a shit about you. And then there's mostly just people when they think Superman, they think Clark Kent, and they just think that face. So that might just be more of a just like they're kind of attached to the traditional Superman image. And some people saying he's not black, he's white. Well, some people have made the argument that technically Superman isn't white, that he is technically an alien, and that just on his planet they just have that complexion. He's not, but at the same time, Superman sees himself more as a human than a Kryptonian. So you can make the argument that maybe, well, he technically is white. He was raised by white parents. He grew up, it's a fucking complicated issue. So they're either going to go with that. I don't think they will. And the only reason why I'll say this is that they're in the movies, they're having a tough time getting normal Superman right, and you want to turn him black and try to make that work. I don't think so. I think it'd be a better idea to go with a Calvin Ellis, because if they really do believe that, once again, Superman, the market is oversaturated with Superman, which I think is bullshit, it might be a good idea to go with the Calvin Elvis. I keep on saying Elvis. The Calvin Ellis Superman. Reason being is because, well, even though he's the Superman of his universe, he's a Superman that the general public is not familiar with. And he has a different story. It's a very different story. In fact, I think part of his story is that he has trouble being Superman. Once again, I'm sorry, I don't know much about the character. But yeah, I think if they're going to go that route, I just think it'd be better to go with Calvin Ellis, introduce the general public to a new character, one they're not very familiar with, which also would introduce the multiverse. And that's something they could use and just say, oh, the DCEU, Justice League and Batman Superman, that was in that universe, and they could start over in this universe and do what they want, have their own interpretation of that. I think that would be the better route, if I'm being honest. Plus, it would, once again, give... there we go. it would give light to characters that don't usually get the spotlight. I mean, we recently had the Batwoman show come out, which I'm going to get into that soon. Not in this episode. I'll tell you later. But which I was actually excited about that show because like she's a newer character, a member of the Bat family that most people don't know about, and it was cool to see her get some spotlight. But you know, so that's what I kind of want to see. I want to kind of see these characters that less people would know about get more attention. They might go with the whole thing, may just make Clark Kent black. Maybe I'm not sure, but why not give Calvin a shot? Totally new character, brand new story. Lots of ways you could translate that to screen. I think Calvin's the better pick if we're going to do the whole bring Black Superman to the screen. That's my opinion anyway. Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to see a full episode, I live stream every Thursday night on Facebook right after I see the movie, or you can tune in to the Revenge Online Radio Network every Friday morning at 9 a.m. If you enjoyed the show, please consider contributing to the Patreon, patreon.com/PO Vincent.